I don't know, maybe I'm wasting my time recording this part of the video. This part will probably be up after the fact, but I'm going to take the car in to Shelby Trim for a estimate on the top. That will be tomorrow, and this may be tomorrow by the time you're watching it, or the next day even. But I got to get all the top stuff together and put it in the trunk because they said the more stuff I bring, the better they can give me an estimate. So the convertible top that I took off the car, you've probably been seeing this box around for a long time. That's the convertible top. The tacking strips. There's some, this is the main tacking strip, which if I have them do it, I'll pull it, I'll talk to them because I want to pull this off and paint it gloss black. That's the frame that goes across here. So I'm just taking it for an estimate. They'll have to order everything, but I don't want to take that off, the tacking strip off the top, until I get the okay from them, in case it needs to be left on for some measuring or something. I can always drive there while they're working on the car, pick the piece up, bring it home, paint it, and take it back. I don't have an issue with that, but I just wanted to, I don't want to take something apart and then regret it. Another thing I want to do is I want to put the spare tire back in. I've been driving the car enough to where, yeah, if I had a flat, that's better than nothing. At least it's round and has air in it, and would at least get me off, somewhere off the road somewhere, or, if I was on a major road, might get me to where I need to go. So I want to get that back in the trunk, even though it's a recap and I wouldn't trust it. It'd be fine for probably 20-25 miles an hour. And so I got to get the rest of the stuff out. I've been taking stuff out. I want to get the rest of the stuff out. This is the chrome stuff that I have the chrome shop. That's pot metal, and see, it's got little pits in it. They can fix that. That unscrews. There's a screw right there. So that comes off the trim. So that will be plated separate from that. These are with the top latches on. So you can see all the pits in it. I was thinking of sanding it out and painting it, but they can replate that without those pits showing. What they do is they strip it and then copper plate it, sand it out, copper plate it, sand it out, copper plate it. They do that until it's smooth, and then they nickel and chrome it. So that might cost a little bit more than what I'd care to spend, but I think it'll make it look nice. So these are this trim I'm going to leave in the car. These wheel wall moldings I'm going to take out. So anything related with the top is going in the trunk. And I got to stop and fill it with gas on my way to the trim shop. It's down to a quarter tank, and it's a little bit of a haul. So I wrote the mileage down when I filled it up last, and I will write the mileage and the amount of gallons down, and I'll figure out the gas mileage. And it may not be that accurate because, adjusting the carburetor, idling and starting and just moving the car, and it's not all just, driving the car. It's a lot of running in the, I had it running for quite a while, adjusting the carburetor in here and setting it up, and just sometimes just moving it in and out of the garage, and I like to let it warm up. I don't like just start it and stop it. So we'll see what the fuel economy is, though. I thought I would show the inside of the trunk before I fill it full of junk. I didn't fasten this in. There's a screw that goes in there and it clips up in here, and I just kind of haphazardly clipped it, and it's a little beat up there, but that's what I have, so that's what's going in. And whoops, and I'll have to put that in the clip so it doesn't keep falling down. And but I just wanted to kind of show the inside of the trunk. The fuse is out for the interior lights, which is also a trunk light. That's why that's not on, because I don't want lights on while things are open for days. Sometimes I leave the trunk open 2 or 3 days at a time, and I don't want to run the battery dead from that light being on. So there we go. This will all get you know, when I put new tires on the car, I'll bead blast all the wheels and paint them, and I'll bead blast all the jack components, paint them. This I'll paint silver or clean it up so it looks nice, repaint that black. What I do when I paint these is I just spray them on this, and then I move this and then wipe this off with reducer thinner to get the paint from painting that off, because these are dimpled on the ends to where you can't run that off the end to paint it. And so then I can paint this after the fact and just move that, paint part of it, move it, paint part of it, and then store it where the paint line is. And but yeah, the inside of the trunk looks super nice. There we go. I just kind of tucked that up in there. You can see the wiring connectors. Well, I don't know if you can, there isn't a lot of light here, but these are the connectors U-Haul had put on the car to put a trailer hitch on it. And I imagine that probably over here, I don't know, usually those things clamped on the bumper where the brackets were. I remember them. I haven't seen one in probably 30 years, but I totally remember them. And that is why I think the original bumper got twisted. It looked like they backed it up and jackknifed it, and probably didn't know how to back a trailer up. But there we go. And I'll oil and undercoat and do all that once the car's all together. So the spare will be coming out, and obviously for a new tire and to paint that stuff. That will all be done last, the oil and undercoating. This car isn't going to sit out, and it's not going to be driven in the crummy weather, but I do want to oil and undercoat everything in there. I mean, you know, I probably will see rain once every 5 years. I can't remember the last time this car has been rained on or I've washed it with a hose. It's probably been 10 years. Well, I think this past summer I was out cruising where I actually had to turn the windshield wipers on, but the roads never got wet. So yeah, it's something that you don't need to worry about with classics so much, you know, because they're not, if you drive one of these cars in the winter, well, don't plan on it lasting. I don't care what you do to them. You can submerge the car in oil and undercoating, and you drive them in the winter, they're going to still rot out. So the only way you can keep these cars nice is not to drive them in the, you know, in the winter or in the fall weather. This car is never going to see a winter again, as long as I own it anyway. Yeah, it's finally starting to warm up out of the 50s to where I could open up the garage. These are the two metal bits for in the center of the top, and I'll repaint these before they go back on the car, but I want to take them just so they see I have them. That's the original header tacking strip off the replacement header. The original one, it was really trash. That's new weather stripping. I'm going to put the old stuff in the car because this has this is the header panel weather seal, and it has a metal strip with it, which I will repaint before it goes, probably tomorrow after I get the estimate, or the Wednesday. Today's Monday, tomorrow's Tuesday. I don't know what day this video is going up, but yeah, I'll paint these Wednesday, all these metal brackets and stuff, whether they do the top or not, because like I say, it's going to be a couple weeks if they have to order the stuff to put a top on it, so it'll give me time to get everything painted. But they told me to put everything in the car for the convertible top, including the old top, so I'm gathering everything up, and that box won't fit in the trunk. I put the top frame down to see if I could set it here, and no, it doesn't fit there either, so it's coming out of the box and going in the trunk. I'm getting ready to pull the top out of here, get the tacking strips out, and there's something in here I've been looking for literally 2 months, and now I see where it is. It's called a tape gun. Yeah, I've been looking for that for a while. I was really getting aggravated and was blaming everybody but myself for the loss of it. Here it's myself that lost it. Yeah, I guess shouldn't blame other people for things until you find it. I think I got everything in here but the top. This is all the old weather strip weld weather strip, those steel ribs. That's part of the old, this is the tacking strip. This is the original right-hand tacking strip, which was rotted out, and Bill Lane sent me another one off one of his parts cars. I think the better of the two is the one he sent me. And so I got both the right and left tacking strip, the old rusted out one, just, you know, you never know. The pieces to mount around the windshield, which if they need them installed, I'll reinstall them, which they probably will. And again, I'll paint all the pieces that are black. I might even clean those up and give them a quick paint. And I'll do that, like I say, after, you know, because I may not have them do it. If they have some outlandish estimate, I'm going to be doing it myself. But if they're within the cost of what it's going to cost me to do it myself, within, say, $800 of what it's going to cost me to do it myself, I'll pay the extra and have them do it. But if they're like $3 grand to put a top on it, no, I'll do it myself. So we're gonna I gotta get this. That's the top's the only thing left in there, so let me drag it out and throw it in the car. I might have to throw that in the, well, it'll probably fit in the trunk because it fits up in there when you put the top down. So should be able to fit it here, and then they can see everything. They wanted me to bring everything for the top, including these are fasteners and some more of the rusted out tacking strip, but these are all the bolts that hold the tacking strips on. And like I say, I'm just taking it for an estimate, so I will clean and paint and go through everything after I get the estimate tomorrow. And so when they get the stuff in, you know, they'll order it out. When they get the stuff in and I make an appointment to drop the car off, it'll be ready. All that stuff will be painted. This stuff will be reinstalled. I'll pull it back off this winter to have it re-chromed. I'm gonna have I'm thinking seriously, if their prices aren't too expensive, have all these are actually in pretty good shape, the Galaxie letters. The little clips that hold the letters on are still in there, and they're in good shape. One of the 500 emblems was kind of bent, and I got another one, so I got both the 500 emblems and the Galaxie letters. So I might get all that stuff chromed at the same time. I can repaint the black in there, and I think that would look nice on there. Nice shiny letters, you know. I'm just going to have that nice and shiny, and the rocker panel molding should clean up good, so that'll look fine. Well, let me get that out and in the trunk. I'm just babbling on here. Well, here's what's left of the top. I left the tacking strip on because the shop manual said to leave it on when you take the top off to put the new one on. And the rib, there's one of the side tacking strips. And there's another one. There's two more in the trunk, and I think the middle rib is underneath right here, so that, and you can see it been taped. And this feels like a, I don't know, I think that might be I think it's a plastic zipper, but yeah, I want to repaint that rib too. So there we go. This top is pretty nasty, so let me throw it in the trunk. That should be everything for the convertible top sitting in there. And hopefully, like I say, hopefully the estimate doesn't come back. I'm not going to bother with this. Is part of the old glass scene window that they had painted with something, and it's just brittle as can be. Yeah. So let me clean that mess up. This is the boot the top folds down into. This isn't the boot that goes over the top on the car when you're driving it. This is actually that part that's in the trunk. That's where it screws in and it hangs down, the top folds down into it. This screws by the back seat. That screws to the tacking strip all the way around. What I was going to do with this originally, and it's still got the rod in there, which is supposed to have a couple springs that pull it back, but they're missing. I was just going to unstitch it. I bought vinyl with the correct grain. It was kind of hard to find, and I was going to undo the stitching here and use this as a pattern and to cut the new pieces out and stitch up a new one on that walking foot sewing machine I have. But I'm going to throw it in the trunk and we will see what they want to do. It does that show up? It's got an F, a C, and a 6. I wonder if that's a date code on the vinyl. And so anyway, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, and that's kind of all over the vinyl, those letters. So maybe this is the original stuff. There we go, full trunk now. Just thought I'd add this. This is the original choke cap that was off the 4100 that was on the car when I bought it, and it's a TO on the cap. And this cap was cracked. Let's see, I glued it right here. You can kind of see just above the spring there, so it wouldn't be a vacuum leak. But I had a viewer send me another one, and I looked at it, the one that's on the carburetor right now, and it's also a TO. It did work. It worked great, but I had to set it, I think, two or three notches lean. The TT that's on the car right now is perfect at the index mark, like the shop manual states. So yeah, that's just thought I'd add that little tidbit to this video. This is at these are the, I'm going to put the driver's side sill plate on, so I was digging around for the screws. This is the trim I got from Bill Lane, that I'm going to have this re-chromed, and the one that's on the hood, because they claim they can fix these. These pits are kind of minor, so I bet they could fix them. They're not deep to where they'd have to be really drilled out and TIG welded in. They might be able to just, you know, grind that out, replate it, sand it, and get it looking good, and then chrome it, put a few layers of copper. So I'm going to have this one re-chromed. If it turns out super nice, this one will go back on the car, but I am going to get them both re-chromed. They're exactly the same. This one just doesn't fit the hood. These holes are off. It was, I think one of these holes was off like 1/16 of an inch maybe, and I didn't want to damage it, break one of these ears off trying to force it, so I just put the original one back on. But it should fit most any 66 Ford hood. These were put on the from what I understand, they were put on the XLs and the LTDs and the convertibles. So, you know, because a lot of them, my dad's Country sedan, he had a 66 Country sedan that had a hood ornament here. And yeah, I don't see these very often. I've only seen, I think, one other Galaxie that's had this on it in my life, and I kind of like it. It looks good on there, so I definitely like it. And but we're gonna get that straightened up too. And another thing, my dad used to, when we go out to the Southwest, I put a photo in one of my past videos of a thumbnail. We're in Colorado, and you know, the right and left mitt and all the red soil. You'd soak this in water, in a bucket of water, and get the material really wet, and then fill it up with water and hang it on the front grill. And the evaporation while you're driving down the road, or the water on the outside, would cool the water on the inside. It could be 100 degrees in the desert. We're out there in July, and you could get this off the front grill, pour some, and the water was just as cold as could be. This was in my dad's basement when I was cleaning the house out for the estate sale, and I vividly remember it from when we were on that trip in the Southwest. That was in a 66 Ford Country sedan. I believe that was 1969 we did that trip. And yeah, so I thought this would be kind of neat to go with this car. May put it on it now and then, you know, just for looks. Who knows? I hooked it around the horn. I hook it around that, and it blocks the turn signal, and I don't want to block it, but I hook it around the horn, and look at there. And so yeah, so you can cruise down the road and have some nice ice cold water. How neat is that? I had to run the top back up so I can check the fluids. And the fluid in the pump, it says to check the fluid in the pump top up. I oiled all the pivot points when I put it down to see if that thing would fit in here, and it didn't. So it's been down with oil soaking in there for a little while. It soaks in pretty quick, but I want it to get, you know, widthwise in there too where it pivots. So that's why I've been continuing to put oil, and it'll weep in there. And so let me run it up, and then I'll check the fluid. And there we go. And I'll put another few drops of oil on it up too. I brought my oil, that's full of transmission fluid. I brought it to top it off, but I have a feeling probably a fluid will run out of here. I actually filled it so that as the foam settled down in the fluid and the air come out, that it would not be too low. Well, I thought it would run out, but it didn't. So we're gonna put some fluid in there until it just runs out of the hole. And I can see it right, it's right there right now. Does it show up in the video? I don't know. But the fluid's right there at the bottom of the hole. It says from the bottom of the hole to a 1/4 inch below is the full. So that's full. Alright, we got a top pump full of fluid and no leaks. I went around and checked for leaks on everything, all the hydraulic lines, all the cylinders, everything. Nothing is leaking. I was going to put the rear view mirror on, and I got these new reproduction mounting hardware. Doesn't even come close to fitting. I'm not drilling out the doors either, but yeah, that doesn't fit. After fooling around for hours fishing that nylon bushing out of that quarter panel over there, I was cleaning, going through stuff and getting everything ready for taking it to the trim shop for an estimate, getting everything organized. And look what I found. Yeah, I wasted my time. These, you know, just organizing everything, I found them. I thought, oh geez, those are in the cylinders that Bill sent me, that they both leaked, but yeah, these were with them, and I could have saved myself a few hours of work had I remembered that these were there. I mean, I took them off the cylinders a long time ago, and I cleaned them up and put them in my box of stuff over here. With this is stuff that I'm still, you know, going to use on the car. A lot of fasteners and clips like that's for the glove box and little fasteners there. And this is stuff I'm taking off the car that, like, these two horns work. They're off an old Chevy pickup, but the brackets are wrong. These are original 66 horns, and you can see how the brackets point. So I'm going to cut these brackets off and cut these off somehow at an angle, whatever, and weld these ones to those ones. So at least I have working horns, you know, until I can find the correct ones that look somewhat, you know, respectable under the hood. I found the original fasteners. They fit right in. I did use the screws with the with those reproduction fasteners because the original screws were really kind of beat up. But yeah, there we go. It's on and it looks good. That is not a reproduction mirror. That is a used mirror off a parts car. And there was really nothing wrong with it. So I thought, why not use it? I'd rather have a original mirror than a reproduction. The Bel Air has a reproduction, and I don't like it. It just doesn't fit the door as tight as I'd like it to. I mean, it's all right. It doesn't wiggle around when I'm driving the car, but look at how I can move it. And it's tight. The little bracket might need bending or something. This just screwed in with those rubber grommets, but look at that. That's nice and solid. And yeah, looks good. Car's starting to slowly go back together. And it's cold out today. I don't think it's much out of the 60s. And that's why I didn't want to take it today. It's just too cold to drive the car to to go all that distance with no top. But anyway, I want to see how it starts cold again. Yeah, I like the fast idler better. Alright, I'm happy with that. I'm going to let it warm up. Maybe take it out for a ride around the block. Actually, I got to go get gas in it to take it to the trim shop tomorrow, so maybe I'll go fill it with gas. This is another day. Today I got an appointment to take the Galaxie to get a top estimate. It's supposed to be a little nicer day today. It's kind of cool out this morning. I had the coldest morning of the year, but it is nice out. There's a little bit of haze in the sky from the West Coast wildfires, but I wanted to show a little something here too. That little bushing that fell down in there was a lot smaller than what it looked in the video. I mean, give you an idea. Let me set the camera up. This is the yeah, I had more bushings, I didn't know it, but this is a 1/4 inch wrench, 1/4, and you saw how tight that was in there. And this parts grabber tip here, which was in the video, it's a 3/8 inch wrench. It gives you an idea how small these two components are, and that was a pretty tight area. It was in between, I think, the inner rocker and the quarter panel skin, and way down in there. It was totally, I couldn't even get my hand near that area. So yeah, that just wanted to put in a little perspective that these are not that large. That camera, that inspection camera, was really close to this part and made it look really huge and like a big area, and by far not. I'm about to head off to the trim shop to get an estimate on the convertible top. And yesterday I took the car out and filled it with gas. It got 13.7 miles to the gallon, and that was a lot of idling in the garage and just driving around, you know, in the neighborhood here and there, you know, checking the carburetor out and backing the car in and out of the garage. So I suspect might get maybe 16 or 17 once, you know, I'm not just letting it sit here and idle and run around. But anyway, we're gonna crank it up cold. I painted the things on the pedals. I noticed in the videos they're kind of rusty and look bad, so I sanded them out and painted them. So we're gonna set the choke and see how it goes here. All right, let me back out and we'll get going here. Yeah, it's still cold. I just backed it out and went. I didn't let it warm up at all. As soon as I turned the camera off, I started to go. All right, let me do some driving here. I've gone maybe a 1/4 or half mile and the choke is completely off now. It was just at its regular standard curb idle at that stop. So yeah, the choke is set up perfectly. It starts, touch of the key, doesn't load up, put it in gear, drive away immediately, and it comes off in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm done fooling with the choke, so put the tools away that adjust that. Well, they'll pull into Shelby Trim. We'll get an estimate here. Looked over the car and they're gonna get all the prices up and email me an estimate by the end of the week, and then I'll either give them the go-ahead or I'll be doing it myself. So we'll see what the estimate is and go from there. Now you can see how smooth and quiet and good this thing runs at idle. It's idling in drive, totally warmed up. Just got back from the trim shop. So that. I had some questions, and I don't think a lot of people even realize, and I've seen other people drive these cars with the selector. So you got your typical drive here. That's drive 2 only. That's second gear only. It won't shift into low, it won't shift into drive. That's all 3 gears, and that's low. And in low, I don't think it'll drop in unless you're below a certain speed, but once you're there and it goes into low, it stays in low. But that's where you drive the car, where the green dot is. That's all 3 gears. So anyway, I just thought, you know, I don't think I was ever clear on that. This thing's just sitting there. I have a new one, but yeah, it's just kind of wanted to point that out. I guess I can dig most of the stuff out. He doesn't need, he just wanted to see this stuff to give me an estimate, see what kind of top the car originally had on it. He does need these tacking strips, and he said just to leave them on here. He said he would take them off himself. He says he doesn't pull the staples, he grinds them off and leaves them in, because he said they will tear the tacking strip out. And he said as far as this tacking strip goes, because I want to repaint this, he said take a screwdriver and just pry the tacking strip out of there, and they'll put new tacking strip in. So tomorrow's project, I'm going to paint these little metal things here, get them out of the trunk, and the metal thing for the weather stripping. Get that out. I'll just take the other stripping off of it. He said this is not a correct tacking strip. So Bill, that car, you sent me that header off of, somebody had replaced the top on it at one time probably, and they didn't use, he says it's more like a paper fiber, the tacking strip. It's not a wood like this. So he said that is not correct for a tacking strip. So I just thought I'd add that. But anyway, I'm going to get all these metal bits out so I can start sanding them and get some paint on them and dry. So Friday they're going to email me the estimate, and then if I go with them, it'll take about 4 or 5 days to get the stuff in, and then they said we'll set up a date where we get, you know, without rain, to drive the car in. And they said they need about a week turnaround time from when I drop it off to pick it up with a new top. He also stated I need to put all this chrome stuff back on so they can latch the top, you know, to get it right. So I'm going to put that back on too. I mean, this all has to be done whether I do the top or whether they do the top. Those pieces and that piece, this needs repainting before anyway, so I'm going to get that out of the top. That's the bow that goes on that bar in the very back here when the top frames up. So we'll get those all painted up. Yeah, there's the old beat up top. Took a chunk of it because I told them I want the original, what originally came on the car is what I want on the car. And I told them that I would prefer glass with a brass zipper. He said that with the glass you got to unzip the glass most of the time before you can put the top down, and that sounds like a pain. So may go with the glass scene window. We will see. We'll see. I told him give me estimates on both tops, so the one with the glass, one with the glass scene. He explained to me that the way the glass scene is laminated, it's like a vinyl. It stretches one way, and they kind of like run one way and laminate another the other way, so the glass scene won't move. It's rigid, you know, it doesn't stretch, but you can fold, it'll fold, and you can fold the top down, much like the glass scene on a boat, but it's 2 layers instead of 1. So I'm okay with that. So we will see when we get the estimate. In the meantime, yeah, I got some work to do. This video is probably just getting a little long for really not getting a lot accomplished on the car. But you can see what I got going on here. I appreciate everyone watching my channel. I do these videos, you know, because I enjoy them, and hitting that like button definitely adds to, you know, to where it gets more views, which earns more money, which is paying for a new convertible top on this car. And I appreciate that. You know, I enjoy doing the videos, doing a restoration of this car. It's the only way these kinds of cars get restored is by do-it-yourselfers doing them. You know, nobody's gonna shell out $50,000-$60,000 to have a professional shop restore one of these. It's just, you know, the car isn't worth it at the end of the day. You know, so that's what it takes to restore these cars, are do-it-yourselfers like myself. And again, all of my viewers out there and liking the video, thank you. It's awesome. My Google AdSense is, you know, I've made a fair amount of money and left it alone in the account, and that is going to be a convertible top and possibly a set of not wide whites, but just white wall tires. And yeah, so that is it for this video. If you like my video, definitely hit the like button, because it certainly helps. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, if you like my channel, you hit that 348 engine icon at the top of the screen. That'll subscribe you. And thank you for watching my videos.